I've wanted to talk about this for a long time, but first and foremost, a few acknowledgements need to be made. Jerimiahisaiah made a few videos explaining why he loves his favorite genre of video games, platformers, and since watching them, I've gotten this urge building up to do the exact same thing, just with my own favorite genre that's near and dear to my heart, survival horror. Thank you, Jeremiah, for the inspiration. Now let's get on to why I love survival horror. Whether trekking through the creepy hallways of the Spencer Mansion in the middle of Raccoon Forest, or trying to survive the hell contained within the evils of STEM, survival horror has offered one of the most enriching, frightening, and engaging experiences of video games that I have ever had the pleasure of participating in. Why?
Look, let me tell you a story.
Back on the PlayStation 1, besides getting to experience a tiny bit of Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon, there was a little something contained within my dad's collection of games that he had at the time. Initially, I had absolutely no idea what I was even looking at. It was only later in my life I'd rediscover it and get more associated with the rest of the Resident Evil games. This led me to expose myself to a larger catalog of games that have made for more memorable experiences. So without further ado, let's discuss some of them. In these survival horror games, there are obstacles that manifest itself in both the enemies encountered within the game, along with the environments that which the games are taking place in. An effective survival horror game, in my opinion, makes you feel uncomfortable. For example, an emphasis on listening to sounds in the environment of the claustrophobic hallways increases the motivation to navigate your character through so they can survive the nightmare that these games have set up in order to mess with you and try to get you killed in the process. There's no better feeling than after pissing yourself immensely from the situations that these games have put yourself in, taking a long breath knowing that it's over.
Made it. Hopefully I'm done with those things for a while.
Nothing beats that feeling. Even better, overpowering your aggressors by giving them a good taste of their own medicine so that you are no longer the defenseless and hopeless one running for your life.
Enough of this shit! Not this time. You think this will stop me? Fuck you.
You'd think that the over-exaggerations of some of these creations and scenarios designed to make people feel disgusted and intimidated would scare away potential audiences. Well, for myself, it's what's gotten me more attached to this genre as the years have gone on. You see, when navigating these said nightmares, the enjoyment and creeps of each game will vary from one another. So depending on the game you're playing, you'd need to adapt to every single tool and resource available, if you can find most of them, that is. And if a game gives you a gun or two, sometimes shooting your way out of everything isn't the best solution, nor is running away, since again, depending on what you're playing, you might have to use things conservatively, and adapt to each changing situation so you can escape.
Keep shooting until they're dead or we run out of ammo.
And since I'm talking conserving resources, this is one of the core elements that challenges the characters taking part in each of these different games. It's especially intriguing when a narrative seeks to challenge the norms of good guy and bad guy. So no more of the, oh hi, I'm a good guy. Good guys must defeat bad guys because bad guys are bad. Now sure, the previous points that I've listed with game mechanics are impactful for my experiences, but there wouldn't be much substance in those experiences without a story driving me to continue playing. And depending on how far you get through, you can continue to find out things about both the characters and the setting, as the mystery of the location you're in continues to unravel itself. For better or for worse, the characters influence the state of the environment, and the environment impacts the state of the characters. And just for a second before I close off this video, these are the things I sometimes find in series that aren't considered horror per se, but I like that there's something to cling on to when it comes to including horror elements. And some of the things I've mentioned previously with gameplay, characters, and story, they don't necessarily apply to horror only, obviously, but the genre of survival horror has offered some of my favorite iterations of those three things throughout the years. And that's all there is to say. That's why I love survival horror.